Hello and welcome back to Let's Talk Chicago Bears. And you know what? It's season 5. I know, 5. Just got to remind you. Welcome back. Thanks for returning to my show. I appreciate it. It's Friday, last day for your working stiffs. If you work a regular 9 to 5 Monday through Friday job. And then a lot of people watch me are retired and we can do whatever we want. Yes. So, nope, we're talking. We're back. We had a great weekend last weekend. The Bears won and they're 2-2. So now we're going to talk about the game that's coming up this Sunday, the Carolina Panthers. So first I want to do a couple shout outs. First I want to mention my heart goes out to all the people in the South that are recovering from this terrible hurricane. God bless you. I hope, I just hope for the best that things settle down and you get your life back to normal again. It's going to take a while, but really, we're all thinking of you, and you're in my heart, and be safe. Also, I wanted to get a shout out to our awesome punter, I believe he's number 19, Troy Taylor, who was named NFC Player of the Week for his awesome punting last weekend. He really had a lot to do with that win, especially his last punt, which I think was a 66-yarder, and put them way down on their the Rams. Pushed them way down. I think they were like on the 8 or 7 yard line, and then Stafford throws the interception. Game over to number 9, Brisker. So that was a game. That was a great game, and let's just hope that we have more of the same on Sunday. Looks like the weather's going to be perfect, and this lady and her wonderful, wonderful, awesome sister and my cousin, we're all going to be at the game on Sunday. We're going in. I'm flying into Chicago and flying out. It's one of those in and out quick trips, Saturday, home Monday early. So, but really looking forward to getting there, and I'm really hoping I can bring home a victory. Wouldn't that be awesome? So I'm not sure when I usually do a show the day after the Bears games. I do one before, the Friday before, and I do it the Monday or Tuesday, depending on when they play. So I won't be doing a show Monday. I don't think. I may. I don't know. It just depends how the day goes, what time I get, back, how hungover I am, So the show will most likely appear. Well, I babysit my grandson on Tuesday, so it's most likely might be Tuesday night or Wednesday. I'm not sure. So just keep an eye out for me. Remember, I'm here. Don't forget about me. And you're going to want to hear about me from me because I'm going to tell you all about the game in person. I won't be able to take a lot of notes, but the notes will be up here. Although I will be drinking. Oops, excuse me. You know what? I forgot to set my timer. And I got to have a timer because if I don't set the timer, I'll just sit here and talk all day because that's what I don't know if I'm good at it, but that's what I do. All right, so anyways, let's move on. So we're playing the Carolina Panthers, who are 1-3, and the Bears are 2-2 on Sunday in Soldier Field. So let's do the stats that I usually do before the game. And I'll break out some stats. It's not a lot, but just some to give you where the Bears are at in the league, and then we'll talk about how they're going to win this game. The Bears, all overall passing isn't that great. We know that, nor is the Panthers. The one thing I have to say, though, the Panthers 2 weeks ago made a change. 2.5 weeks ago, because he sat out half of the first one game, but they made a change because their second-year young rookie, Bryce Young, who I want to say they drafted 1 or 2 2 years ago in the draft, was benched because he was just awful. I personally think the kid's too short for the NFL, but people say, well, look at Russell Wilson, but he was a talent in his day, although Russell Wilson's pretty much done too. But I just don't think Bryce Young's going to make it. But We'll see. So they have replaced him with the redheaded Andy Dalton. Okay, so and he played the last two games. He won his first game that he started, and they lost last week. But so that's just that. Okay, so the Bears overall pass for the season, they're averaging 165 yards a game. That puts them 26th in the league, and the Panthers are averaging 182 yards a game passing. That puts them 24th in the league. Okay. Not good for the Bears. They got to get. I would like to see Cabe have over 200 at least. You know, he would have. We would have better passing right now if some of those overthrows and wide open receivers he's missing. So, and I know each game is going to get better. It's a rookie, you know, whatever. There's a lot of reasons, but let's start improving this passing and let's get it at least over into the 200s. Okay. So, because as you see, we're 26 out of 32 teams. That's not great. Okay, and again, another spot we're not good at is the rush. I know we had a good game last week, but we're still well below where we should be. We're averaging 87 yards a game. That puts them 29th out of 32 teams. Not great. Panthers, on the other hand, are running the ball a bit better. They're averaging 108. You should be averaging always over 100 yards a game. You just should. You have to get that going, Bears. And 108 yards a game, the Panthers, that puts them 18th. So they can run the ball. So the defense, and our defense has not been stellar in that particular part of our defense. So we're going to talk about that a little bit. But the defense has really got to figure out how they can stop that run. I mean, they're not giving up huge, but they're giving out consistent runs. 7 to 10 yards. So the Bears have got to get that figured out on defense. That's really one of their only real problems is the rush for the defense. The Bears have scored an average of 19.3 points a game. That puts them 20th. Not great. The Panthers have averaged 18.3, and that puts them 25th in the league. So we got them beat, not by much, really, not by much at all, 1 point. The Bears' defense have allowed 18.8 points a game for the opponents. They have allowed, and that puts them 8th in the league, which is awesome. This is the best part. The Panthers are giving up 32 points a game. Their defense has allowed so far for the last 4 games, and they're dead last at 32nd in the league. So I'd like to see that happen some more on Sunday. Maybe this will give Cabe some, to get some more points. It'll allow us, hopefully their defense continues to play shitty like that, and we can score some points, Lynn. It's not baseball, it's football. Okay, so Williams, our quarterback, I'm just going to give you a few stats. He's got 787 yards passing so far for the last 4 games. He's got 3 touchdowns and 4 interceptions. Okay, that ratio's got to change. You've got to have more touchdowns than interceptions. That's just obvious. We know that. So we got to but Cabe did not turn the ball over last week, and that's important. So we got to get that touchdown to interception ratio on the plus side, like this is. Andy Dalton, the redheaded Andy Dalton, who is now the quarterback. He's been around forever. He even played with the Bears for 1 season. I'm not sure if you knew that. It was in 21, I believe, he played for the Bears for the season. He's only played 2 games, and he's got 539 yards passing, 5 touchdowns, and only 1 interception. Much better ratio, touchdown interceptions, and that's a pretty good number for 2 games. Williams has been sacked 16 times. Yeah, you heard me, 16. And Andy Dalton has been sacked twice in, actually 2.5 games. So he's played 2.5 games because they benched Bryce Young at halftime during the second game, I believe. So, and I'm going to put interesting little tidbit stats in each show to be like, I didn't know that, or that's interesting. I knew that, but yeah, thanks for reminding me. So, yes, Williams, 16 sacks. In the beginning of the first game or two, some of those were on him, but the majority of them are on our offensive line, and that offensive line has just got to figure things out. We know that, okay? So we got to slow these sacks down, okay? I think last week he was sacked 3 times. He could have been sacked 5 times, but he got out of 2 of them. So let's go line. Here's your little tidbit for the day. I was thinking, what quarterback has been sacked more in the history of the NFL? So I looked it up, and it surprised me. Now, maybe not you, maybe you people know this, but it surprised me. It's Tom Brady. He's the all-time leader of being sacked at 565 times. Now, of course, he's played forever, so that probably has something to do with it. And the majority of his sacks came in the second half of his career. So, but yeah, 565. He is the all-time sack leader. Congratulations, Tom Brady. Okay, so let's look at our rush game. We know we're still hurting there, but it did improve last week, so we need to get it. We need to see consistent improvement from number 4 Swift, who before last game I said sit, and then he had a great game. So should I say sit him again? But I'm going to be talking about something about him in a minute. He has been handed off to 53 times, and he only has 161 yards. He should have way more yards than that, and he got 93 of them last week. So we need another consistent, positive day from this young man. Okay, Swift, get your shit together. You're getting a lot of money. He has 1 touchdown. Our Williams, Cabe, number 18, our quarterback, is second in the running, and that's never a good sign. Never. He's rushed the ball 16 times for 79 yards. And then one of mine that I'd like to see get in there, he was in there a bit last week, but I think he should be in there consistently, is number 23, Johnson. He's been handed off the ball 15 times for 56 yards and 1 touchdown. So he has a better ratio than Swift does for sure. So I know the Bears are going to play Swift more because they paid him. They paid him in the offseason. They went and got him. But you got to do what's best for the Bears and for your quarterback because, as I say all the time, the run game is a quarterback's best friend, especially a rookie. So you're going to hear me say that all season. Run, 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 run. And the Bears have got to get their shit together. 1 game last week don't make it a success. I want to see it consistent from number 4 moving forward till I say, okay, otherwise I'm going to be on his shit every week. So I'm watching you, Swift. All right? The running back for the Carolina Panthers are Hubbard, and he's doing much better. He's got 55 touches, and he's got 296 rushing yards. Now, that is way more. That's where you should be, if not more, after game 4. He's got 1 touchdown. So, see, Bears, Swift, you getting my drift here? You got to improve, man. You got to have your numbers higher. Sanders is their second running back. He's touched the ball 25 times with 91 yards rushing for 1 touchdown. So, as I said, they're better than us in the rush, but we got to turn that around. Okay, guys? Run, run, run. You run, it frees up. It frees up your offense to do other plays because if you're consistently running the ball, then the defense, you got to make the defense has got to start worrying about that, and then Cabe can start getting some of those open wide receivers, and he can hit them on Sunday, okay? So run, 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 pass, protect. Right there. Okay, our wide receivers, number 2, Mr. Moore. He has 189 yards with 1 touchdown. That's really not a lot. He needs to get that up as well. But we know we're not. What did I say? We were 25th or something like that in the league or 28th in the league on passing. So we know that's why the numbers aren't that great. Number 15, our rookie Rome. He has 166 yards receiving with 1 touchdown. Number 85, my fave, Comment, our nice tight end. He has 162 yards with 1 touchdown. And then Swift, because of last week, when they started using him in those short screen plays or short passes, which I really think this kid is good at, that's what they should be doing more. Swift has 118 yards receiving. So for the Panthers, their leading receiver is Johnson. He has 239 yards receiving with 2 touchdowns. Leggett is their second wide receiver with 143 yards passing, 1 touchdown. And Adam Thielen has got 109 receiving yards, 109 touchdowns? Wow! 109 receiving yards with 1 touchdown. Okay? All right, so that's the offenses. So we'll just give a little stats on the defenses, and then we're going to talk about the game a little bit. So the Bears defense has 10 sacks with 5 interceptions, which is awesome, 3 forced fumbles, and 3 fumble recoveries. Nice job, well done, Bears. I'd like to see some more sacks. I predicted 4 sacks last week. They got 3. I predicted 2 turnovers, and we got them. I'm going to predict, again, 4 sacks for the Bears on Andy Dalton, and I'm going to predict another 2 turnovers, however they might be. The Panthers their defense has 5 sacks. They have 3 interceptions. They have 1 forced fumble, and then they have 2 fumble recoveries. So they're a little close, not with the sacks, but everything else. So our offense has got to be prepared. Okay. All right. So let's talk game. Okay. So Williams and Dalton, as I said, Dalton has been in the game, has played 2.5 games so far this season, and he's doing much better. I said he's got 539 yards with 5 touchdowns and 1 interception. Cabe, I'll repeat, has 787, 3 touchdowns and 4 interceptions, and he's been sacked 16 times. Now, Dalton's only been sacked twice, so they have a better probably offensive line than we do, but our D-line is better than their offensive line, I am sure. So we're going to get to him. But Andy Dalton, as I said, he has only played 2.5 games, and he's been around an awful long time. He's been in the league 13 years, and as I said before, he played for the Bears for 1 season, and it was season 2021, as I said. Dalton isn't much of a runner, but he can run, get a few yards if needed. So the defense has that in their favor. He's not going to take off on if he has nothing open. So they have a better chance to sack him. So they need to get in his face consistently, like they did to Stafford last week, and force those mistakes. Dalton is smart, so he's not going to be just winging that ball anywhere, but the defense has really got to be on point for this game because it's not Bryce Young. Now, in the beginning of the season, when I saw this game on the schedule, I said, oh, that's a win because Bryce Young, I don't think he's got it. Well, they sat him, and I was right about that. So it's not quite the same game as it was a few weeks ago. So we'll see. But the defense, as I said, they're 18th in the league, the Panthers, so the Bears have to stop their run. They've got a consistent running game. And so you stop that run, you force Dalton to throw the balls, and if you can force him to only have one element in his game, he's going to make mistakes. Any quarterback's going to probably do that, unless your name is Tom Brady. But so we got to get our offensive line, the defensive line. We got to get them forcing that offensive line to collapse and get after Dalton to force those mistakes. So the Bears are playing, like I said, a better team, but they don't score a lot of points. They're like the Bears. They're right behind the Bears, so it's not like they're overwhelming, but Dalton is experienced. He's not a great quarterback. He was with Cincinnati forever, and the reason they didn't go to the playoffs more than they should have is they didn't put enough people around Andy Dalton to make him successful, in my opinion, because he was a good quarterback when he was young, smart, but he didn't have the tools. The team didn't help him there. So I don't know. We'll have to see. But the defense, you're going to have to be on point. The backfield, of course, is going to have to do their magic like they've been doing all season. I mean, they're doing great. They're getting these turnovers. We need more, but it's not an easy game. Basically, the defense has got to keep doing what they're doing. They have to get in their face, stop the run, and cause turnovers. Just be consistent defense like you're doing. Play 100. Everybody plays their position 100%. We're going to be fine. And our defensive line really seems to be gelling, and everybody's playing well. Dexter's playing well. Swift. Walker on the other side of Swift. Billings, when he's in there, is doing it. So let's just keep this consistently going. Now the defense, their defense, we'll talk about in a minute when we start talking about our offense. So we're going to start talking about our offense. So we know what we need to do on defense. So offense, as I was saying, their defenses, they're dead last on that. They're giving up over 32 points a game. So this is in the Bears' favor, okay? But a few weeks ago, we played a team, if you guys remember, in Indy. Their defensive line prior to that game was like last in giving up rushing yards. And then we went in there with big heads. We were all, we're going to run the ball, no problem. They stopped us. Cold dead. If we had been able to run that ball on that Sunday in Indy, we would have won that game because we only lost by 5 points. So the run game was huge. But you see what I mean is just because, it says on paper they've given up 32 points, which they have, and that puts them dead last, doesn't mean the team that shows up on Sunday is going to be doing that, because I believe any team can be beaten on any given Sunday. I don't care who you are. If you got a team in there that comes in and they're jacked and they're all playing their positions 110%, they could beat you. So it's in our favor, no doubt about it, that their offense hasn't been scoring a lot. Or that their defense is giving up. That their defense is giving up a lot of points. So that's a good thing. There's no doubt about it. Especially when you have your team that's coming in, just getting their run game figured out, and you've got a rookie quarterback. So let's hope that this Sunday gives Cabe the game of his season right now. Best game he's had so far, because on paper he can do it, because we're facing a team, as I said, last and giving up points. So hopefully we can take advantage of that. You don't want to go in there like we did with Indy with your heads too big thinking this is nothing. I hope that Flus remembers what happened in Indy and remembers to remind these guys, I don't care what it says on paper. Forget about that. Play them and play your best game. So we were talking about Swift, number 4, our running back, and if you've watched the game, if you've watched my show this season, I've been not a bandwagon. I'm not on his bandwagon. I'm not a fan, whatever. And last week I wanted them to sit him. He had his best game out of the 4 games he's played, but that's one game, people. And trust me, I would love nothing more than him to keep getting 100 yards, 150, blah, blah, blah. And at the end of the season, I was wrong, and I'll admit it, but not until it happens. So I want to see this kid. But I was reading some articles, and this was very interesting. This popped up. Before last week's game, Swift was trying to find answers and what he could do better. He just, it was in his head, and he's like, I know I suck, blah, blah, blah. So he went around in the organization, and he had asked several people what they thought. He went to coordinators. He went to several coordinators and several teammates, and apparently they told him his running back coach, his offensive coordinator, and teammates told him the truth. And they didn't write in the article what was said, but whatever it was, it took it to heart because whatever was said, he took it to heart because it worked. They said that these people were brutally honest with him. And he was just like, oh. And he really was stunned to hear some of the stuff. And he did take it to heart, as I was saying earlier. And look what happened. He had his best game last Sunday. Well, that's one game, Swift. Let's see it consistently. And then I'll be like, okay, you did it. So, what changed from weeks 1, 2, and 3 to where he was sucked to last week? Whatever they said worked, and he needs to keep improving and keep doing exactly what he did. Again, run game important. Okay, so let's talk last week. Okay, so the Bears want to win this game, of course, and we want to have a good game. Again, I don't care if they win by 1 point or 20 points. I just want a victory. So the offense, we got to talk about that again. Run game, so important. I say it so many times in the show, you probably get sick of it. But everybody on the run team, number 4 Swift, number 23 Johnson, and number 24 Herbert, need to get in there and get well over 100 yards. Not individually, but it would be nice if one of the three, which if they don't play them consistently, it won't happen, but we need one of the three to for sure have over 100 yards, and with the three of them, they have to definitely have well over 100 yards to win this game on Sunday. So important, and it just helps Williams. It protects him so much with a running game. So, and the O-line, well, I don't need to tell you that. They need to protect Williams, and they got to get better. You know, some people felt that they looked better last week. I did not. I thought they looked better in the Indy game that they did last week. I saw breakdowns. They're just not good. Unfortunately, Poles dropped the ball big time on this offensive line, and unfortunately, we're not going to be able to improve it until next year. So they're going to have to do what they can. So the O-line coach and all the other guy and the players, they got to get their shit together, and they have got to allow Williams to set his feet and throw those long balls. We know he can throw the short balls. That's just not the problem. It's those long balls. He's got to feel comfortable to get these receivers that have been open. And once that starts happening, I think Cabe is just going to be rocking it. So, because once he starts hitting these guys on these long passes and storing more touchdowns, it's going to get better. But it does start at the O-line. And whatever it takes, you guys, you got to do it. I mean it. It's all on you. So it starts with the O-line. It's second is the run game. And then third is, of course, Cabe keeping his mind in the game, not turning the ball over, not taking sacks. Try to get that ball, if you're being pressured, try to get that ball, either throw to somebody's feet or throw it out of bounds, but try to avoid the sacks, okay? So if we can do this, we're going to win this game. But they have to do this, and well, we'll talk about that in a second, the other thing. But yes, you have to do this. So the Bears, it's relatively easy. So I'm going to do my threes. I always do my threes. Time of possession, turnovers, penalties. Time of possession, say it every week. You win that, you got a dang good chance. Now, the Bears have been right up there in time of possession all season, and it just shocks me that they've only got 2 wins. But it's because of the offense we haven't scored enough points. So time of possession is huge because, one, it keeps our offense on the field, it keeps their defense on the field, that you want to tire them out. Especially if we can get that run game going by the fourth quarter. If you got a run game going, that's when you just pound. That's when you put in number 23 and number 24 Herbert and Johnson, because they're bigger than Swift, and then they can just start pounding the offensive line of Carolina, and that's what I wanted to see the defense do more. It's just excuse me, defense. I apologize. Pickled. I got a little bit on my mind. There's a friend of mine who is a little under the weather and really worried about her. So it's sorry. Anyways, back to time possession. Our offense, if they can win this and they're on the field a lot and they get that running game going, they're going to wear that defense out. That's best thing about a running game in the fourth quarter. You can pound that ball, boom, 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 and you start getting 5, 6, 7 chunks of yards every time you touch the ball. You're going to wear them out, that defense, and you're going to win the game. And the defense for the Carolina Panthers, as I said, are last in allowing points. So I think we can wear them out, but the defense has to call more run. I mean, they got to get these big guys, Johnson and Herbert, in there, because they keep the pile moving. When they're running, their legs, watch them. They just keep going. Swift, he gets hit, he goes down. He's not one little push the pile. Those two will. And if they can get this, another good. And the time of possession also keeps our defense off the field, meaning that means they can rest up. They're not constantly on the field. And their offense, the opposing, the Carolina Panthers, offense is not on the field. So time of possession, very important. Turnovers, it's quite obvious. Turnovers, you win the turnover battle. It just changes everything. Turnovers jack your team up. Everybody's psyched. You give your offense hopefully good field position, and maybe they can go get some points. It deflates the other team. It just changes everything. We saw that last week in the game when we got those 2 turnovers. It makes a world of difference, and it can end a game like it did on Sunday. So turnovers, huge. And the Bears are making it happen in all these games, and they got to continue. They've got to get, I say, the rest of the year, 1 turnover per game, if not more. I'd prefer 2, but I'd prefer a lot more than that. And then penalties. I hate penalties. And if you watch my show, I can't stand it. And last week, the Bears had 10 penalties. They won that game with 10 penalties. I'm shocked because most teams don't win when you got 10 penalties. And the Bears, that's another thing they need to clean up the offense. It was mostly on the offense. The defense had 2 costly ones last week, but the rest of them were all pretty much on the offense. And I broke them down last week to you on Monday's show. And several of the penalties, or some of the penalties, we got there was one drive where we had 3 offensive penalties. You're not gonna score points on that, and you're gonna end up putting the ball and putting your defense back out there, and that happened several times last week. Penalties. So the offense, as I was saying, it starts with the offensive line, the run game, Cabe not turning the ball over and making those passes that he's missing, and stopping these bullshit, senseless, drive-stopping penalties. Stop them. You've got to have 5 or less. That's the rule. And I am sure Coach Flus says the same thing. You don't want any, but that's not really realistic, because most teams get penalties, right? It just happens. But that's what it's going to take. So basically, this is an easy one. Offense, protect the ball, run the ball, keep the penalties down. Offensive line shows up. W. Defense, do what you've been doing. The only thing is stopping the run. That's been your bugaboo all season, and they can run it. They're better than us, so they're going to come out running because they want to do exactly what I've talked about. Control the time of possession with the run game, keep their defense out there. They're going to try to run it, and then they're going to mix it up with passes from Andy Dalton because he can pass. And again, he's a smart quarterback. We don't have a dummy in there. And sometimes smarts on a quarterback can go very well for you, even over some abilities in quarterbacks because they know what to do and what to avoid. So Andy's no dumbbell. So again, defense, just do what you're doing, but stop that run. Get those sacks, get those turnovers. Backfield, be prepared, he can throw. Offense, you know what I just said what to do, so we know what to do. So let's frickin' do it because I'm going to be there. So I want to see a victory. The last time I saw the Bears live, well, I've been in Vegas 7 years now, and I left in January of 2018 and moved here. I would see the last time I went to a Bears game might have been around 2014. When we were younger, my husband and I, especially before our son was born, we would go to games maybe once a year. And then, we had a kid and that stopped. And then unfortunately my husband got sick. So it was hard, but we did go a couple times when my husband, because it was hard for him to walk. He was somewhat disabled. But we did go to a couple games with when he was sick. And then after my husband passed away, I ended up going like 5 or 6 more times. Because my sister, at that time, what was he? Was he the equipment manager or was he the doctor? I can't remember what it was, but his daughter, they worked for the Bears, and his daughter went to school with my niece. So we all knew him. I met him. I forget what he was, anyways, but he was, he worked for the team, and he would get us tickets. You pay for them, but cheaper tickets. And so we went several times, and we just had a blast. It was great. But yeah, I think 14 was the last time it was ever in Soldier Field, and this most likely will be the last time I will be in Soldier Field again, because eventually the Bears are going to move, I think, which I don't really care about. The only thing I care about the new stadium is they're going to put the dome on it. Hate that idea. Bears are a weather team. They should stay a weather team, but it's all about what everything is about in this country: money, so that they can have a Super Bowl, so they can have concerts, all that shit. The league has told the Bears organization, you get a dome, we'll commission a Super Bowl to be played in Chicago. But see, I don't care about that. I want my Bears to stay the Bears, but if they put a dome, it's going to change. So, but anyways, yes, this will probably be my last time I see them live in Soldier Field. Because I'm old too, so I got to take that into consideration. And I have seen them. I saw them in Arizona a couple years ago when they came, and I think that was in 2019 we saw them, and we won that game. That was a great game. The Bears came back. They were losing that game, and they came back and won it. It was awesome. And as a matter of fact, that our old coach, you remember him, the idiot who was bald and wore a visor. Who's bald and wears a visor? It looks so stupid on him. But anyways, he ended up giving that Arizona Bears win, when the Bears were in Arizona and won that game in 19. He gave the game ball to the fans that were in the stands, because there were more Bears fans in that stands, and we were going nuts. So that was a great game. And then I saw the Bears here in Vegas in that wonderful Raiders stadium. It's a beaut, in 2021. So, and I'm going to see them Sunday with my favorite person, my sister, who I love so much. She's coming from Tennessee. I'm coming from Vegas. So, and my son's thrilled because he's going to be staying at my house. Him and his family, they're going to come enjoy a big house and just chill out and stay here and have some fun. So I thank them for that. But so maybe I'll see some people there. If you watch my show, I don't know where I'm sitting, but if you see me walking around, I mean, let's face it. You've seen this face once, you're never going to forget it again. A father, my father's face on a woman's body, just not fair. So, but he was a handsome man, that's for sure. I've been called handsome. So yeah, if you see me walking around, yell out, "Let's talk Chicago Bears!" But I'm going to try my hardest, you guys, to bring us home a victory. So I told you what we need. I gave you the stats. Let's be 3-2 come Monday morning. And if we do win again, I'm going to sing that touchdown song for you, because that's our victory song on this show. So anyways, I see my time I have gone well over. So just please be kind to one another, respect each other, love one another. Pray for those people in the South. Anything we can do, send them good vibes. Whatever you can do, we got to stick together. These United States are tough right now, and it's important for us to love one another, respect one another, stop hate, and just rally around each other. You know what I mean? It's just so important. And when people do that, it just warms my heart. You know what I mean? So God bless it, like I said, the people in the South and all of you. I hope you're all happy and healthy and stay that way. I'm glad you watched my show. Thank you. It means so much to me. I just want to give a shout out to Denise. You get better, girlfriend, because you are crabby, and we got to stop that. I love you, friend. So, go Bears. this old lady is going to be there. And I might not have a voice when I come back, because usually when I go to games, here, I'll tell you a funny little tidbit, even though I'm well off. I should sign off. But one time when we were at a game, probably about, I don't know, 10, 12 years ago, whenever. And we were sitting in the stands, and I was yelling, and there was an older dude sitting in front of me. And he turns around and he looks at me and he says, "Man, could you just be quieter? Quit yelling." And I look at him and I'm like, I said to my friends, "What the hell is that? This is a football game. I paid my ticket, my price, and I wasn't yelling profanities. I was just yelling, 'Go Bears!' like I do." And and my girlfriend says to him, she taps him on the shoulder. She goes, "Sir?" And he goes, "Yeah." She goes, "Why don't you just turn down your hearing aids?" Zing on the strings of my heart. I was like, "Right on, friend." And he didn't like it, but I yelled the whole game, because that's what I do. As a matter of fact, when we went to the Raiders game in 2021, which the Bears won, my son was like, "Are you going to scream like that the whole game?" I'm like, "Yeah, because that's what you do at baseball games." So at the end of the game, we get up to walk out, and this guy comes up to me and he goes, "Can I take your picture?" And I go, "Okay, why?" And he goes, "Because I've never seen anyone, let alone your age, that enthusiastic at a football game. You were yelling the entire game. Every time." He goes, "It's impressive." So he took my picture. I did lose my voice for a couple days, but it was so much fun. Okay, I'm done. I got to go. So thank you for watching. Tell everybody to turn me on. And go Bears. Bring us home a victory, and I will be loving it. And as always, keep on rocking and rolling from Vegas, baby. See you next week.